Somewhere beneath the surface of the ocean, far below the waves, below the sunlight, below the places humans normally see, there is a world that almost feels unreal. A world where creatures create their own light, where entire mountains rise from the seafloor in complete darkness, where animals survive under crushing pressure that would destroy almost anything from the surface. And maybe the strangest part of all, we still know surprisingly little about it. Human beings have explored more of the moon than the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. Right now, while you listen to this, there are places in the deep ocean no person has ever seen. Unknown creatures, unlandscapes, unsounds. The deep sea is quiet, cold, ancient, and endlessly mysterious. So tonight, get comfortable. Lower the brightness on your screen. Take a slow breath and drift down with me into the deepest places on Earth. And if you enjoy relaxing documentaries like this, you can gently subscribe to the channel. There are many more sleepy journeys waiting for you. Now, let's descend beneath the surface. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet. From space, Earth does not really look green or brown. It looks blue, almost like a giant ocean world floating silently through darkness. And yet, most of that blue world remains unexplored. Scientists estimate that we have mapped only a small percentage of the deep ocean in detail. There are enormous underwater regions that are still mysterious. In some places, humans know more about distant planets than the sea floor beneath our own oceans. As you move deeper underwater, sunlight slowly disappears. The upper layer of the ocean is bright and filled with life. Fish swim through beams of sunlight. Waves shimmer above. Everything feels familiar. But after around 200 meters, the light begins to fade. This region is sometimes called the Twilight Zone. The sunlight becomes weak and blue. Shadows stretch endlessly. And beneath that,
lies true darkness.
There is a part of the ocean where sunlight never reaches. Not a single ray. No sunrise. No sunset. Just endless black water. Creatures living there evolved in ways that seem almost alien. This is called bioluminescence. Tiny chemical reactions inside their bodies produce glowing blue or green light. In the darkness of the deep sea, glowing light can attract food, scare predators, or help creatures find each other. Imagine drifting through total darkness and suddenly seeing tiny blue lights moving beneath you, like stars floating underwater. The anglerfish is one of the most famous deep-sea animals. It has a glowing lure attached to its head. In the darkness, smaller fish mistake the glowing light for food. And in one quick movement, the anglerfish strikes. But despite its frightening appearance, the anglerfish spends much of its life drifting slowly through cold, black water. Their bodies are almost invisible. Others are bright red. The Mariana Trench is deeper than Mount Everest is tall. And at the bottom of this trench, life still exists. Cold, pressure, and yet life continues. Some fish have enormous eyes to collect tiny amounts of light. Others have no eyes at all. Certain creatures rely completely on touch or vibration instead of sight. There are jellyfish in the deep sea that pulse slowly, like drifting lanterns. Some glow softly in blue circles. Others trail long glowing tentacles behind them. In darkness, even small movements can look magical. Whale falls are one of the strangest events in the ocean. When a whale dies near the surface, its body slowly sinks to the seafloor. This giant body becomes an entire ecosystem. Creatures gather from the darkness to feed. Some whale falls can support life for decades. Imagine a silent giant slowly descending through black water until it finally reaches the ocean floor. The deep sea has underwater mountains taller than many mountains on land. These are called seamounts. Some rise thousands of meters from the seafloor. Many have never been explored closely. Hydrothermal vents are underwater cracks in Earth's crust. Superheated water erupts from them into the freezing ocean. Around these vents, strange ecosystems thrive. Tube worms, blind shrimp, bacteria that survive without sunlight. Instead of using sunlight for energy, like plants on land, some organisms near vents use chemicals from the earth itself. It feels almost like another planet, hidden beneath the sea. There are fish that can survive pressures so extreme that bringing them to the surface can damage their bodies. The blobfish became famous online because of its unusual appearance. But in its natural environment, deep underwater, it actually looks more normal. Its body changes shape when brought into lower pressure. The ocean is filled with sounds. Whales sing across enormous distances. Ice cracks. Volcanoes rumble beneath the sea. Tiny shrimp create snapping noises. Even in darkness, the ocean is never truly silent. Blue whales are the largest animals known to have ever existed. Larger than dinosaurs. Their hearts can weigh as much as a small car, and yet they move through the ocean with incredible calmness. Their low calls can travel hundreds of miles underwater. Sometimes one whale may hear another from unbelievably far away. There are places in the deep ocean where marine snow slowly falls forever. Marine snow is made of tiny particles drifting downward. Dead plankton, dust, fragments from the surface. It is like a slow underwater blizzard that never ends. Some octopuses are incredibly intelligent. They can solve puzzles, open containers, escape through tiny spaces, and even recognize patterns. The mimic octopus can imitate other sea animals. Sometimes it imitates sea snakes Other times, lionfish. It survives through creativity. There are sharks older than some countries. Alive today, may have been swimming through cold waters before modern technology even existed. Imagine a creature silently moving through dark oceans for centuries. Deep-sea animals often conserve energy carefully because food can be rare. Some creatures wait patiently for weeks or months. The vampire squid sounds terrifying, but it is actually a gentle creature. It drifts quietly through oxygen-poor waters where few animals can survive. Its cloak-like webbing and glowing eyes give it an eerie appearance. But it mostly feeds on drifting particles in the darkness. Bioluminescence is so common in the deep ocean that many scientists believe a large percentage of deep-sea creatures can produce light. Imagine an entire hidden world glowing softly in darkness. Tiny flashes, blue pulses, floating sparks. Like stars underwater, the ocean stores enormous amounts of heat. It helps regulate Earth's climate. Without oceans, temperatures on our planet would become much more extreme. The deep sea also absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. In many ways, the oceans quietly help stabilize life on Earth. There are underwater volcanoes all across the seafloor. In fact, most volcanic activity on Earth happens underwater. Some eruptions create entirely new islands. Others remain hidden beneath miles of ocean. The colossal squid is even larger than the giant squid. It has enormous eyes, possibly the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. Huge eyes help it detect movement in darkness, especially the movements of predators, like sperm whales. Sperm whales dive incredibly deep. They hunt squid in darkness far below the surface. Their bodies are built for journeys into crushing depths. The deepest recorded fish was discovered more than 8,000 meters underwater. Life continues even in places that seem impossible.
Scientists sometimes compare deep-sea exploration to space exploration.
Both involve darkness, pressure, isolation, and mystery.
And both remind humans how much remains unknown.
There are underwater caves so complex that divers can become completely lost.
Some cave systems stretch for enormous distances beneath the earth. Inside them, water can remain perfectly still,
Silent.
certain deep-sea sponges can live for thousands of years.
Some may be among the oldest living animals on Earth. While human civilizations rise and disappear, these organisms remain quietly attached to the seafloor. The ocean floor is not flat. It contains mountains, trenches, valleys, cliffs, volcanoes, and enormous plains. There are landscapes beneath the sea, more dramatic than many places on land. Not necessarily monsters from legends, but animals humans simply have not encountered yet. The ocean is vast enough for mysteries to survive, even today. That is why the deep ocean remains permanently dark. If you descended slowly into the abyss, the last traces of light would eventually vanish above you. Only darkness would remain. The gulper eel has an enormous mouth that can expand dramatically. Its body looks almost unreal. Ocean currents move water across the entire planet. Even sounds recorded underwater sometimes confuse scientists. Occasionally, strange noises echo through the ocean for years before being identified. The famous bloop sound, recorded in the Pacific Ocean, once sparked wild theories. Beautiful. Others have expandable stomachs that allow them to eat prey larger than themselves. Food is unpredictable in the deep ocean, so creatures adapt however they can. The bear-eye fish has a transparent head. Inside, its eyes can rotate. Scientists were amazed when they first observed it properly. It looked almost fictional. The moon affects the oceans constantly. Its gravity creates tides around the world. Entire coastlines change shape because of the silent pull of the moon. Some marine animals even synchronize their behavior with lunar cycles. There are glowing waves called bioluminescent tides. At night, certain microorganisms emit light when disturbed. Waves can glow electric blue. Footsteps along beaches can sparkle. It feels almost magical. Sea cucumbers may not look impressive, but they play an important role on the seafloor. They recycle nutrients by feeding on organic material, quietly cleaning the ocean floor. Some coral reefs can be seen from space. These ecosystems support enormous biodiversity. But deep-sea corals also exist far below sunlight. Some grow extremely slowly, only tiny amounts each year. The ocean contains ancient shipwrecks hidden in darkness. Some remain perfectly preserved in cold, deep water. Time moves differently down there. There are underwater brine pools so salty that they can be deadly to certain creatures. Their surfaces ripple strangely, almost like lakes within the sea. Some scientists believe life may exist on icy moons in our solar system because of what they discovered around deep-sea vents on Earth. If life can survive in dark oceans beneath extreme conditions here, maybe it could survive elsewhere too. The giant Pacific octopus can squeeze through openings surprisingly small for its size. If its beak fits through, the rest of its body usually can too. Every year, countless creatures travel across vast underwater distances. Whales, turtles, fish, tiny plankton. Entire worlds are constantly moving beneath the waves. Lanternfish are among the most numerous vertebrates on Earth. Every night, billions of them rise toward the surface to feed. Before sunrise, they descend again into darkness. This daily migration is one of the largest animal movements on the planet. Yet, most humans never notice it. The ocean absorbs sound differently than air. Whale songs travel far because sound moves efficiently underwater. Some scientists use underwater microphones called hydrophones to listen to the sea. They record mysterious calls, cracking ice, distant earthquakes, and the sounds of marine life. The Nautilus is often called a living fossil. Its ancestors existed hundreds of millions of years ago, long before humans. Long before dinosaurs disappeared. Its shell spirals beautifully in perfect natural patterns. Sometimes never seen before. The deep ocean also contains enormous plains covered in soft sediment. But life exists there too. Everything moves slowly, patiently, in darkness. Some jellyfish are effectively immortal under certain conditions. The species Turritopsis dorni can revert to an earlier stage of life instead of dying normally. It is one of the strangest biological ability discovered by scientists. There are places underwater where methane bubbles rise from the seafloor. Some bacteria feed on these chemicals. Entire ecosystems form around invisible gases escaping from Earth. The deep ocean is often described as Earth's final frontier. Not because it is empty, but because it remains mysterious. Humans evolved on land. Our bodies are not naturally built for deep water. So, every descent into the abyss requires technology, courage, and curiosity. Sometimes, scientists discover creatures so unusual that people initially doubt they are real. Yet, nature is often stranger than fiction. The ocean has hidden forests made of kelp. These underwater forests sway gently with currents. Fish weave between towering strands. Sunlight filters softly through green water. Even closer to the surface, the ocean can feel dreamlike. At extreme depths, some fish appear fragile and ghostly. Their bodies are soft because hard structures can be difficult to maintain under immense pressure. Everything about deep-sea life reflects adaptation. The Portuguese man-o-war looks like a jellyfish, but it is actually a colony of specialized organisms working together.
Nature often blurs the lines between individual and collective life.
The ocean contains millions of tons of dissolved gold. But extracting it is far too difficult and expensive.
Treasure exists in the sea, but mostly beyond human reach.
Some underwater volcanoes release black clouds called black smokers. These dark mineral plumes rise through freezing water like underwater chimneys. Around them, life flourishes. The giant tube worms living near vents have no mouths. Instead, bacteria inside their bodies help produce nutrients. It is one of the strangest partnerships in nature. Sea turtles can travel thousands of miles across oceans and still return close to the beaches where they were born. Scientists believe they may use Earth's magnetic field like a map. Navigation exists even in creatures that never see roads or signs. The ocean is older than humanity, older than civilization. For billions of years, waves have risen and fallen across Earth. Long before humans looked at the stars, the oceans already existed. There are regions of the sea where almost no oxygen exists. Life adapts again and again. Deep-sea creatures often grow slowly. In some ways, the seafloor is like a giant archive. The deep-sea dragonfish has transparent teeth. Its prey cannot easily see them. Others camouflage themselves perfectly. Survival in the deep ocean requires creativity. Even though the deep sea feels distant, it affects everyday life on Earth. Oceans influence weather, temperature, oxygen production, and food systems. The sea quietly shapes the world around us. Some scientists believe there are still ancient species hidden in remote, underwater regions. Not giant monsters from movies, but undiscovered life forms waiting in darkness.
The ocean is simply too vast for humans to know everything inside it.
As night settles over the sea, many creatures rise upward. Then, before dawn, they descend again. The ocean changes constantly between day and night. Invisible migrations happen while most humans sleep. There are fish with glowing stomachs that help hide their silhouettes from predators below. This strategy is called counter-illumination. Even light itself becomes camouflage in the deep ocean. The sea contains beauty that very few people will ever witness directly. Glowing jellyfish drifting silently, whales singing beneath moonlit waves, strange creatures moving through darkness, an entire hidden world beneath the surface of our planet. And perhaps that is part of why the deep ocean fascinates people so much. It reminds us that mystery still exists. Even now, even in the modern world, there are still places where darkness hides the unknown. And somewhere beneath the waves tonight, creatures drift through black water under crushing pressure. Tiny lights flash silently in the abyss. Ancient animals continue their endless journeys. Currents move slowly through underwater mountains and trenches. And the deep ocean remains vast, quiet, and beautifully mysterious. So, as you rest tonight, imagine the calm rhythm of distant waves. Imagine blue darkness stretching endlessly beneath the sea. Imagine glowing creatures drifting slowly through silence. And somewhere far below the surface, the hidden world of the deep ocean continues, exactly as it has for millions of years. Quiet, cold, ancient, and still waiting to be explored. Far beneath the surface, there are places so isolated that no sunlight has touched them for millions of years. Imagine an environment completely separated from the world above. No sound from cities, no human voices, only cold water
moving slowly through endless darkness. Some scientists believe the deep ocean is the closest thing on Earth to an alien world. Not because it is far away, but because it feels so unfamiliar. Creatures there evolved under conditions humans can barely imagine. Pressure beyond comprehension. Near freezing temperatures. Permanent darkness. And yet, life adapted. In the deep ocean, conserving energy is extremely important. Food may not arrive for long periods of time. Some creatures survive by moving as little as possible. The ocean also contains enormous underwater canyons. Some are larger than the Grand Canyon. Hidden beneath waves, these valleys stretch across the seafloor in silence. Cold currents flow through them slowly. Ancient sediments settle gently into their depths. The giant siphonophore is one of the longest animals ever discovered. It is not a single creature, but a colony of connected organisms working together. Some can grow longer than a blue whale. Transparent, delicate, almost invisible in the dark water. There are fish in the deep ocean that barely look alive. Soft, translucent bodies. Tiny, glowing organs. Slow, drifting movements. Life down there often feels more like a dream than reality. Scientists exploring the abyss sometimes discover species completely by accident. A camera drifts past a strange shape. Lights reveal an unfamiliar animal. And suddenly, humanity is looking at a creature never seen before. There may still be thousands of unknown species waiting in darkness. The ocean is simply too large to fully explore. Some deep-sea creatures create red bioluminescence. This is rare because most deep-sea animals cannot see red light. For certain predators, red light works almost like an invisible flashlight. Ancient shipwrecks, lost aircraft, artifacts from civilizations. Some remain perfectly hidden beneath layers of darkness and sediment. In cold, deep water, objects can remain preserved for astonishingly long periods. The Dumbo octopus moves through the water using ear-like fins that resemble gentle wings. Unlike many deep-sea creatures, it appears strangely peaceful. It drifts softly above the seafloor, looking for worms and tiny crustaceans. The deep ocean can feel frightening from a distance, but many of its creatures are calm and fragile. Not monsters, just survivors adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. There are glowing worms in the ocean that release bursts of light into the darkness. Some use glowing displays to attract mates. Others use them to confuse predators. Down there, light becomes a language. The ocean's deepest trenches formed over millions of years as massive tectonic plates shifted beneath the planet. These enormous scars in Earth's crust are among the most extreme places on the planet. And still, life exists within them. Sometimes, deep-sea exploration vehicles discover creatures that react strangely to light. Some flee instantly. Others drift closer. Many animals in the abyss have never encountered bright illumination before. For them, sudden light may seem completely unnatural. The ocean is filled with invisible boundaries. Different temperatures, different salinity levels, different pressures. Entire ecosystems can exist only within very specific conditions. Even small environmental changes can affect life deep underwater. A silent underwater language made from light and movement. The sea has storms beneath its surface. Powerful underwater currents can move enormous amounts of sediment. Some underwater avalanches travel for hundreds of miles across the seafloor. Even in darkness, the ocean is constantly moving. The deeper humans travel underwater, the more isolated they become from the surface world. Communication becomes difficult. Pressure increases. Darkness surrounds everything. Descending into the abyss can feel like entering another universe. And perhaps that is why the deep ocean continues to fascinate us. Because despite all our technology, despite satellites, computers, and modern science, Earth still contains hidden places, still contains mystery, still contains darkness waiting to be explored. And somewhere tonight, far below the waves, a glowing creature